Hello everybody, welcome to my very first 24-hour readathon. I just wanted to pop in before I officially began at 12 a.m. to talk about the books that I'm going to discuss, and also because I'm not actually going to start reading from 12 a.m. because today is the 20th, meaning BTS is releasing Butter at 12 a.m. on the 21st, so I will be fangirling and then I will get to reading. I wanted to do a 24-hour readathon for a really long time. I feel like it's a rite of passage for booktube, and I wanted to do my very first one as sort of a celebration for my first semester back at school being over. That's all there is to it. I should have done it when my sleep schedule was a little bit more up in the air and I could stay up for longer, because now I'm a grandma and I sleep at like 10:30 or 11 and I wake up at like 7:30ish. But I have 2 high priority books and then 4 lower priority books, 2 of which are graphic novels and then 1 is an audiobook. 2 high priority books would be my leftover Asian readathon books. They're not leftovers, but like the 2 left that I have to fulfill all of the prompts. And then I have my backups to get to if I wanted to, probably not for this vlog. But the first one is going to be covering the prompt of my favorite genre, which is thriller. This is YA and it's The Silence of Bones by Her. This one is going to be for, I want to say, non-fiction, which is The Beekeeper, Rescuing the Stolen Women of Iraq. They're both actually not too long. Like, this looks not too long. It's barely 200 pages and this is YA, so I don't think that should take me long. So it just kind of, I didn't even plan that. It just so happened that these were the 2 books that left that I had for the readathon, which is really perfect. If you saw my book haul, my first low priority book is going to be my mass market paperback romance. I kept saying paper book and I'm not sure why, but this is American Love Story by Adriana Herrera, and she's like 360-ish pages, but it's a romance, so I feel like I should be able to fly through this. My 2 graphic novels are Heartstopper, Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. I know, finally, I feel like everyone has read this and it's just the sweetest thing and everyone loves it, so I can't wait to get through this. I loved, actually, Loveless by Alice Oseman that I read for a video, and I can't wait to dive more into her books. Then the other one is a series that my sister has on her shelf, as this is also hers. This is a graphic novel series called The Last Man. One of the authors is Brian K. Vaughan, who also wrote Saga, which I really like. I should be able to fly through these if I wanted to break anything up. The audiobook that I have is by Beverly Jenkins on the Libby app, because I feel like I shouldn't be cooped up at home just to keep myself awake. I should go on a walk or something. So I have Tempest by Beverly Jenkins, and I guess you'll know what they're about when I read them. I'm really tempted to start right now, but I think I'm gonna push through, do the 12 to 11:59, 12 to 12, and then just knock out. Hopefully I can sleep. I can't wait to start this because I feel like I have been wanting to do a 24-hour readathon for so long, since I basically started booktube, and it's finally here. Long overdue. But fast forward, I guess, later to when Butter comes out. Can't wait. I've replayed the music video 10 times. I've been doing this for an hour since they premiered at like 11:45. I'm not sure how I'm expected to read after this. I'm like sweating. I'm on a fucking high. I love this song. Watching it with Coda, and we've both said that we already like it more than Dynamite. Not to say that Dynamite's bad. It's just, yes, exactly. First impression's completely different. I can't fucking wait for the BBMA performance just to see it all as a dance. We love Jin here, but honestly, Suga's cute little mini smile in his dance, like, deceased. Fucking, yes. Good morning. It's like 9 a.m. and I did end up sleeping for a little bit. I had meant to only take a 10-minute nap and then get up and make some coffee around 5 a.m. or a little bit before, and then I couldn't do it because, like I said, I'm a grandma who sleeps at like 11 o'clock now, but I always have a wake-up alarm that goes off at 7:30, so I woke up to that. Obviously made myself coffee, played butter a bunch of times already to just wake myself up, pump myself up. I would say that I would watch the music video again, but last night I didn't do that much reading because, as you know, the first 2 hours were spent watching the music video and some other BTS stuff, and then I napped, so I really only read like 40 pages, which 9 hours into the readathon, not feeling great. In order to just lift myself up in terms of reading a little bit, because today's already, I feel like it's such a good day. I started out great with butter, and I want to make this a really great day to go hand in hand with this summer bop. So I'm going to read a graphic novel just to have one book finished and have it out of the way. This is volume 1 of The Last Man. I believe this is also sort of sci-fi-esque. It's definitely an adult graphic novel. It says, in the summer of 2002, a plague of unknown origin destroyed every last sperm, fetus, and fully developed mammal with a Y chromosome, with the apparent exception of one young man and his male pet. This gendercide instantaneously exterminated 48% of the global population, or approximately 2.9 billion men. LOL. Now aided by the mysterious Agent 355, the last human male, Yorick Brown, must contend with dangerous extremists, a hoped-for reunion with a girlfriend on the other side of the globe, and the search for exactly why he's the only man to survive. It's a graphic novel, so even if it was really long, you know, I could still get through it. It's like 130 pages, so we're gonna get through this, lift myself up, drink my coffee, and then continue with Silence of the Bones. It's gonna be a good day. I'm not even dressed yet. It's fine. It is 3:30 right now, and I still have not even made a dent into the Silence of the Bones. I did go to the library, and I fully planned on listening to the audiobook of The Tempest, but my mom wanted to tag along so that I would go with her to the grocery store after. So I didn't end up getting to listen to my audiobook. It just, you know, that would be mean to be like, no, you can't come with me, or you can come with me, but I'm gonna do my own thing. But I did decide to wear stripes, because, you know, Jimin. Even my socks. I'm gonna take the time to read right now because I at least want to finish 2 books before dinner, and then maybe I'll hit up another graphic novel. As for The Last Man, this book was published in early 2000s, I think 2003, so it's not really holding up. There's terms that shouldn't be used, that are insensitive. My sister said in the series, this white main character says the N-word to a black character. We'll see if I continue on with the series in this particular vlog. I do want to at least finish the Asian Readathon books. If I come down to it, I'll take a break. I'll probably pump myself up by jamming out to some butter. That's seriously just going to be the only song that I listen to the whole day, the whole week, rest of the week. For right now, we are just going to sit, relax on this couch, and at least get into halfway of this. I made a pretty good dent into this. It's probably about time I discussed this and said what it was about if I haven't already. This is taking place in the 1800s in Joseon era in Korea. The main character, Sol, is a indentured servant working with the police, specifically to Inspector Han, and they're investigating a few murders of noble people. At one point, the inspector that she's close to, Inspector Han, is accused of the murders, and she is the only one who can figure out what actually happened, and she's trying to figure out like who she trusts and if she believes that Inspector Han actually did it or not. I have like really mixed feelings about this. The writing is fine, but it's like the plot that's kind of confusing me. It's interesting at times, and then it's like back down to like meh. I'm at 3 stars right now. I do have 60 pages left, which I don't think I can finish before dinner unless I don't talk with my family and I just read through dinner. I only have a little bit left of like actually figuring out, like everything's sort of coming together now, but I still don't really know what to believe because I just feel like the plot is a little bit all over the place. It doesn't read like YA, which is interesting. Sol, who is 16, is pretty mature in some ways. I mean, her curiosity as a servant definitely isn't doing her any good. It was going a little slow. There were some times when I was falling asleep and I had to do like 10-minute power naps, which is why instead of sitting down, I've been walking around just to keep myself awake until 12. But I definitely will be finishing this. If I can finish the 4 other books on my TBR, probably not. But to break up reading this next, I do want to read a graphic novel. It's almost 10 p.m. and I have finished 2 books. I did finish The Silence of Bones and I think I'm giving it 2.5, which is really disappointing because just the plot of it didn't really draw me in. And the way that it ended, I felt like there wasn't a lot of things resolved. I mean, yeah, obviously the murder, but like the characters, I felt like I didn't like where they ended up. I would have preferred to leave it at a 3-star, and I did enjoy the writing and learning about this world, definitely, but this is gonna be a 2.5. Right after I like worked out and stuff and watched Butter again, and I read Heartstopper Volume 1, which was just the best decision. 5 stars, really easy decision. Charlie is like so cute in such a dorky way, and just Nick is such a softie, and I loved it. My sister doesn't yet have Volume 2 or the rest of the series, but this is really easy to get through. After I finished that, I did get straight away into The Beekeeper, Rescuing the Stolen Women of Iraq by Dunya Mikhail, which is translated and it's nonfiction about a beekeeper who helped several women escape Daesh, ISIS. I only read like 1 chapter. That at least we're following Nadia, a 28-year-old woman who was sexually assaulted in front of her children, forced to make bombs, as were her like 5-year-old daughter. So this might be a little heavy and I am going to continue this, but just to break it up a little bit and to fit in another book if possible, which would be a graphic novel obviously because there's not a lot of time left tonight. That would be Volume 2 of Why the Last Man. The last book left off with Yorick trying to head into Boston with Agent 355. So this world is really definitely creepy. I'm just gonna continue reading. I'm not gonna finish this book tonight because, you know, I only have 2 hours. I don't know how much I would be able to read for a nonfiction book like this because I do prefer to take my time with books like this, but I will wrap up the vlog after I've actually finished this book so that I could have a comprehensive review and just have everything come full circle. I wanted to mention that yes, as a dancer, I do love to look at choreography and learn them. I did learn the choreography for the chorus portion of Butter, which is so exciting. I can't wait to watch the BBMAs on Sunday to see their whole performance, but I know that people usually do tutorials for the chorus only because it would be really long. I did get really hot, and now as a morning shower person I definitely will be rethinking that for the summer because I do want to go to bed, you know, in a non-sweaty state. I have a little over an hour left and I did read this. I think I'm giving this one 0.5 more, 3.5 stars because I enjoyed the Morrisville part of the story. Things are obviously starting to move along, but like really slowly because it's hard to find transportation. They're moving on to California now. As for The Beekeeper, I'm like 55 pages in. It's kind of hard to read. I would have thought it would be better organized, written by a journalist, because it's really just straight up like phone conversations and each chapter is following a different survivor. At 11 though, there is a listening party, a global listening party for BTS Butter. I'm not exactly sure what it entails, but I'm gonna try to join that while also reading. glare from my glasses is pretty bad, so sorry. I gave myself a day of rest yesterday, so today is Sunday now and I'm gonna wrap up the vlog. I did have 6 books on my TBR and I've read a total of 5 books, 4 of which were on my TBR, 3 of which are graphic novels. My final page counts ended up being just over 1,000 pages. I read 1,008 pages. It sucked because I had only like 60 pages left of this, so I could have finished it if I had just read earlier or dedicated more time, but I had really just spent so much time focused on Butter and BTS. That's really the only thing I've been listening to all weekend. I learned a lot of stuff and I do want to do another one, but now I know like what works for me because I did this on Friday, spent a lot of Saturday being sleepy, which kind of sucked, but it's okay. Anyway, the first book that I read was The Silence of Bones by Jane Hur, and I'm giving this 2.5. That's my final rating. I just didn't really enjoy the plot as much as I would have liked to, especially with it being a mystery. I felt like it had a lot of potential, but the writing was very beautiful. I just didn't really like the ending. The next book I read was the graphic novel Why the Last Man Unmanned, which is volume 1, and I gave this 3 stars. You know, the story is just starting out, especially with it being like a sci-fi-esque world. I felt like the story needed to be set up, and I always just give like a basic, good, middle of the road, average rating. Afterwards, I picked up The Beekeeper, Rescuing the Stolen Women of Iraq by Dunya Mikhail. This is nonfiction, so I'm not giving it a rating. This was really interesting because it's basically all in interview format, but it was confusing because it's all paragraphs, which I think as a journalist is better because you don't want to distract the interviewee with too many questions in this sort of situation when they are basically having to relive the trauma by explaining to you what happened to them. But it did get a little bit confusing sometimes of like who exactly was talking. I felt like the beekeeper Abdullah, she was friends with him, I guess. They would talk about the people that he saved in his own life, but I feel like there wasn't just a lot of information about him. This was mostly focused on the people that were saved. It was really hard to read and awful, but just that they survived seemed really rewarding. A lot of trigger warnings going into this one. And after, I picked up Heartstopper volume 1 by Oseman, which was easily a 5-star read. It was just so adorable, really heartwarming. And then I ended off with The Last Man volume 2, Cycles, and I gave this one 3.5 stars just because, you know, the story's starting to finally move along. So I finished 4 books and the majority of the 5th one, which is really awesome. Maybe next time when I do one, I will actually give myself a good night's rest because I feel like that way I don't have to power nap every so often and I could dedicate a lot of my day to reading. If I am going to leave the house, it kind of just happened that my mom was going to come with me. I didn't plan it that way, but I wanted to have gotten a lot more reading done, so I guess that depends, you know. Maybe not do it on a day where a BTS song is going to be dropped. I was really excited for their comeback. I can't wait for their album. I really hope it comes out this year. Let me know if you listen to it and your thoughts on these books if you've read them. Like Silence of Bones, I know people really liked this book. I haven't met a single person who didn't like Heartstopper, so this was really fun. I don't know how the vlog turned out because I feel like vlogging for just one day is kind of boring. Hopefully this turned out well. I do want to do another one, maybe not anytime soon, but yeah. Yay, these are all the books that I read. Maybe next time I do want to read graphic novels but not focus too much on them, and I could read more books. So I will see you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.